Well, hello everybody, Mr. Mack here. Back for, gosh, we are getting right down to the nitty gritty. We're in chapter 28, Shoshana Weber. And, when Shoshana, everybody's leaving Brendan's house now. They're heading over to Portland Street to, because they know that's where Chase is. And what they don't know is why Chase is there. And we do. But we also know when he got there, we suspected who would be there but the idiots, the schmucks, Aaron and Bear. I don't want to ever say doing their community service or because they're not. They're just jerks even there. They're treating the residents like terrible and horrible. And anyway, Chase shows up. They notice he's got a bulge in his pocket. We know what that is. It is the Medal of Honor for Mr. Sloven. He's there to take it back to him and explain, but they try to stop him, and they almost do. But Chase outwits them with one of the residents setting up a table for her, purposely knocking over a plant, spilling everything, using the vacuum cleaner, sucking up the metal, and then finally, the boys, Aaron and Bear, noticed what he had done. And he got out of there. He used the vacuum cleaner like a battering ram. And remember, Chase is fast. He's the fastest person. He's the best at sports. He's a fantastic football player. But Aaron and Bear are linemen. In other words, they're the ones on the field blocking and stopping and plowing things down. And, Chase, as good as he is, he's more quarterback material. He's strong, he's fast, but not when it comes to two linemen. So, using that vacuum cleaner as a battering ram, though, he knocked them down, made his way down the hall. There was no way they could catch him. Even Aaron knew that, except on the field, he's carrying a football, which is considerably lighter than a vacuum cleaner. He still got the vacuum cleaner with the metal inside, I would imagine. So, while all that was happening, meantime, they were, Shoshana, Joel, Brendan, and Kimberly were at Brendan's house. They watched the video. They realized that Chase was okay. Chase didn't do any of that on purpose. Chase wasn't a part of this whole thing. And they're heading over to Portland Street. So, see what happens. Chapter 28, Shoshana Weber. By the time I got to Portland Street, I'm walking so fast that the others are half a block behind me and running to catch up. Chase! I didn't think I could be madder at him than I already am, but this almost makes it worse. He's innocent of the attack on Joel. I saw it with my own eyes. It was easier when I could just hate his guts, no questions asked. But it's not as simple as that. Now, every time I work myself into a good rage, I'll see him trying to protect Joel or working with the video club or interacting with Mr. Salway, and that will ruin everything. It's the mix of good and bad that makes my head spin. Worse, a lot of mean things I said turn out to be wrong, and it might be too late to take them back. In the lobby, I wait for the others to catch up and drag them down the hall to Mr. Salway's room. I knock on the door, but burst inside without waiting for an answer. The old man is doubled over in his favorite chair, working out at his sneaker lace with intense concentration. Spying me, he exclaims, "Well, don't just stand there. Come on, help me out and undo this knot. I don't bend in the middle like I used to, and, and when I don't get close enough, I can't see it." I step inside, and the others follow. "By all means," Mr. Salway adds, "invite the whole world." Watch the old codger trying to untie his shoes. "Who's bringing the popcorn?" You're going to have to blow up the balloons yourselves. I haven't got wind for any more." Mr. Salway's awesome, but he is crotchety. He's an old codger. That's how I want to be. I kneel down and I pick the knot out of his shoelace. "Mr. Salway," I ask breathlessly, "has Chase been here?" He shakes his head. "Haven't seen him in days. You either." He adds a little accusingly, "Where you been?" I feel awful. I haven't come by since Joel got hurt, Now I realize Chase hasn't visited since that horrible day either. It never occurred to me before because my only thoughts about Chase were how much I despised him. But to Mr. Solway, it must look like we didn't need him anymore because our video was finished and we just tossed him aside. It's my fault, I confess. I got mad at Chase for something that was only partly his fault. That's why he stopped coming, not because he didn't want to see you, but because he didn't want to see me. And I stopped because I didn't want to run into him. I feel a hand on my shoulder. Joe is standing next to me, and I realize that he's trying to tell me I'm getting so worked up about this emotionally that I'm not making much sense. A crooked smile spreads over Mr. Solway's craggy face. I wouldn't be young again for all the tea in China, he says. Kimberly steps forward. We saw a movie about you in my school. That was Warrior, Brendan supplies quickly. The project Shoshana and Chase did together. There's a commotion out in the hall, loud voices and pounding footsteps, and of course we know who that is. Mr. Solway frowns. Not wheelchair roller derby again. The greatest generation. They think they own the world. I poke my head out the door in time to see Chase sprinting toward me with of all things, a vacuum cleaner clutched in his arms, and as I watch, he's yanked violently backwards off his feet. He falls hard, still clinging to the appliance. Aaron is on the floor behind him, both hands on the electrical cord that brought Chase down. Bear hurdles the fallen Aaron and descends on Chase like a bird of prey, and then Chase, though, won't give up that vacuum. Bear rains punches on his head and shoulders. I hear a cry of outrage from Kimberly, but it's not as loud as my own. The two of us rush forward and jump on Bear, trying to pull him off Chase, and it works. He scrambles back to his feet and shoves us away from him. Kimberly bounces off the wall, and as we stumble together, our heads meet with a crack. Oh, I see stars. Hey! Little undersized Brendan comes flying at Bear, his anger lending him courage nobody ever knew he had. He begins pummeling Bear, landing blow after blow. It's insane. David versus Goliath. He isn't even making proper fists. His thumbs stick out like apple stems. Then Bear's shocked expression turns to cruel glee, and he laughs as Brendan continues to flail at him. And finally, he hauls off and catches his much smaller assailant with a bone-crushing uppercut to the jaw. Brendan lifts off the floor and lands 6 feet away. Amazingly, Brendan gets up, his chin bright red from the punch, and starts for Bear again. Chase is on his feet, reaching out to hold Brendan off. It's a good idea. Those two gorillas could really dismantle him. Aaron snatches the vacuum off the floor and draws it back a little like a baseball bat and holds it like a baseball bat, and the ball is Chase's head. I rasp a warning, Chase! Mr. Solway's walker comes freewheeling down the hall. It slams into Aaron's kidneys just when he's off balance for the home swing. He and the vacuum tip up over backward onto Bear. 3 of them, Aaron, Bear, and the Hoover, clatter to the floor. Ha! Bullseye! Exclaims Mr. Solway with satisfaction. There they are. The heavy doors at the end of the corridor are thrown open, and Joel appears leading Nurse Duncan and 2 security guards. Way to go, Joel. At least somebody had the brains to go get help. Aaron and Bear are ready to fight another round, but the arrival of security and the head nurse puts an end to that action. Brawling in the middle of court-ordered community service won't look good on their records. Bear points an accusing finger at Chase. It's his fault. Nurse Duncan is in a towering range. What is? Residents are beginning to appear in the doorway to investigate the cause of the disturbance, so the head nurse drops her voice. What is all this insanity about? In answer, Chase pulls the filter bag off the Hoover and dumps the contents onto the floor. He digs around through the mound of fuzz and dirt and comes up with a star-spangled ribbon, gray with dust. Dangling off the end of it is the highest and most renowned military decoration of any American soldier can earn, the Medal of Honor. Not even the contents of the vacuum can dull its brilliance. Is that mine? Mr. Solway asks in amazement. Chase nods. I took it from you. I don't remember doing it. It was before my accident, but that's no excuse. And he hands it to its rightful owner and bows his head, shamefaced. It was the old you, Brendan mumbles, around a rapidly swelling jaw. There's only one me, Chase says, so quietly that I can barely hear him. Mr. Solway turns the medal over in his fingers. He seems stunned. What about those two clowns there, he asked. Were they in on it? Aaron and Bear turned terrified eyes on their former best friend. It was just me, Chase replies. I took it and I hid it behind a loose cedar shake on the roof of my house. That's what I was doing when I fell. I guess I got what I deserved. And he shakes his head. I don't know why I would do such an awful thing. I must have thought I could sell it. Mr. Solway looks shocked and very sad. I almost speak up for Chase, but the sight of the stolen medal strikes me mute. Good Chase, bad Chase. There's no question that we're looking at the handiwork of the worst one of all. I can tell that Joel wants to support Chase, but he doesn't know what to say. He's quiet, and he's always been the quiet one, the quiet twin. I'm the mouthy one. Brendan's jaw is turning purple, so he's not talking either. Kimberly's completely lost. Aaron and Bear are so relieved that no one's blaming them that they're keeping their mouths shut too. The only words come from Nurse Duncan. Well, I have no idea what any of this is supposed to mean. The one thing I understand is that a crime has been committed here. And she takes a deep breath. I'm calling the police. That's the end of chapter 28. She's calling the cops. She's calling the police. I mean, that's the right thing to do. The medal was stolen. Goodness gracious. Bear, Aaron, I don't know what's going to happen to them, but I hope something does. They need to get something. Karma needs to give them a good swift kick. If not karma, then somebody. Something. So my thoughts are, the next chapter is 29, and then we have the end. And I always hate to end a good book. Chapter 30. So chapter 29 is Chase. And we end with Brendan Espinosa. We end with Brendan. So, awesome. Take care. I don't even want to talk about predictions. I think we've been on this same road with this most awesome book. And you have your own, I have mine, and I think yours and mine, what we think is going to happen in the next chapter. Anyway, I think we're on the right track together. I think we have a good feeling. Anyway, make sure you come back for chapter 29. Take care. Stay safe. Stay masked when you go out. Keep your hands away from your eyes, nose, and mouth. The other day, I think I put on here, because I always try to say that. I think I said, because I always fumble words sometimes. I think I said, stay masked when you go out. Keep your hands away from your eyes, nose, and face. But whatever. I meant eyes, nose, and mouth, you know. Take care. Enjoy yourself. Be safe.